Hello there everybody, this is BadHell24 here, and this is a long time coming. I told you guys in my comments that I will do the Theory Trilogy from the Theorizer eventually, and here we are. 3 videos, 3 theories about a character from the movie Horton Hears a Who. This is going to be interesting because I have not seen Horton Hears a Who in a long time. I remember seeing the, kind of like the animated one, not the old one, the new, or the movie one with How Bad Can I Be from the Once in it, that kind of shit. I've not seen that in a while, but people have been telling me that these K-theories are actually really, really good, so, yeah, let's see what our good old pal Theorizer has to say about, a character from Horton Hears a Who. This is the trilogy, by the way, so we're gonna watch all 3 videos, back to back to back, just like that. And yeah, just like I promised, let's go.
Specimens so disturbing, so suspicious, and so anomalous.
Not more?
It's taken me 5 years to fully process.
Not more?
I've carved out a career in creating the taxonomy of the eldritch horrors of kids' films, and I'm still in the process of creating.
I need to watch the scrap ones.
An hour-long dissertation on Mort from Madagascar as mere preparation for this, the only being to completely shake me to my core out of pure incomprehension.
What?
It's a character from the self-aware cosmic horror story distilled for kids, known as
Horton Hears a Who.
Like Mort, this character is in.
So this is during his, breakdown with Mort. This is during his, breakdown. Hold on, let me plug in my keyboard here so that I can easily, fucking pause and play the video easier here. So this was during his, what was this, man? 2 years ago. So this was during the long period where he was doing his Mort theories. Which, by the way, part 24, we will watch when, that comes out. It's gonna be insane. We have that, we have whenever the next part of the, Pixar theory number 2 is coming out, remember that? With, baby spinning and stuff like that. Yeah, we saw that to watch whenever that comes out. But yeah, let us.
Intentionally mysterious and creepy as a sort of ironic parody, regardless of whether it's ironic or not. Though it exists and therefore has lore to it.
Yeah.
This being is not the main character of this film. It's not even relevant to the genocidal dictator Karen Guru villainess that.
I mean, everything has lore, right?
It's just a small, little, confusing thing.
Yeah.
It goes totally unexplained and certainly doesn't belong there.
Katie.
I'm going to explain this weird joke, and then use it to flesh out the cosmic convergences and quantum entanglement this film literally mentions as brief offhand comments. Every film has at least one thing that doesn't make sense in it. One little thread you can tug at. Whether it's a plot hole or not, you can tug at it. Even kids' films, again, whether intentional or not, as you should be able to tell.
We know all that threads with, the DreamWorks movies. We've watched the more theories. We know what one small thread can lead to. I'm still trying to figure out how everything connects with the DreamWorks movies. I did the 3 videos talking about proof that me and a couple others have found. That he's probably going to go over in Part 24. But there's a lot of movies to go over with the DreamWorks stuff. And I want to question the canonicity of the DreamWorks short films. And I've said this multiple times. But there's something in these short films that is probably the key to finding what the hell all of this means. I still need to completely watch Shark Tale and of course the Egypt one that DreamWorks made, and of course a couple other DreamWorks movies, stuff like that. May need to rewatch those to try to get a good grasp on what I'm trying to do with here. But, whew. Stay tuned for more Pod 24 when that drops. Oh.
Sometimes these threads lead to predicting the next episode of a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they answer intentional mysteries, which is the area where fan theories start to come in.
Okay.
Or at least try to. Sometimes, though, they can help better explain things the film chooses.
Oh, yeah.
Such as
The Finding Nemo ones. The first Pixar theory that he did. Dude, I remember watching a video which was just that entire 3-hour first Pixar dissertation, and I made to watch the individual videos just to get the entire thing, but that first Pixar theory was, whew, it was a doozy, connecting Finding Nemo with Toy Story, with Inside Out, with Up. Like, he found a way to connect those 4 movies together just by mentions of people in, like, different movies and different spots. Like, he managed to create a family tree, which is insane, of those 4 movies and how they're interconnected with each other. And he's doing the same thing with, like, Monsters, Inc. and Incredibles and Megamind and Madagascar and more in every single DreamWorks movie. I'm getting too far out of myself here.
a lore that isn't well explained in the film.
Oh, yeah.
In this instance,
Oh, yeah.
the thread we are tugging at today is...
Oh yeah, Katie. Let's hear about who this Katie is and how she is the demonic hellspawn of your nightmares. Just like Mort. Hello.
The Theorizer.
Hi.
I shouldn't really have to explain this, but again, the Katie mystery is the perfect
Yes.
little thing to start digging at because it
Katie.
has all the staples of something that can be dug at. She's clearly strange, intentionally made to act bizarre and random. Beyond it being a joke, there is...
I mean, similar to Mort is like this outlier, you know?
Give an explanation.
Why am I talking about Mort? This is Katie.
When Katie is floating...
I guess Mort and Katie are
So I will
similar.
give one. That's my rationale behind doing all of this, if you still don't know for some reason. Katie is just a quiet little yellow yak who hangs out
Yeah.
with a few other kids in Horton's jungle. He's a part of his small class of students. As to what he is teaching them, I do not know. In her first scene, she appears in Horton's class last and smiles blankly into space before opening her mouth and going... She has some pretty sharp teeth.
Oh yeah,
Constantly spaced
that is
out.
sharp.
I do not know the evolutionary advantage of this. I will, though. I will. Later, she is seen running in circles going...
What kind of...
With her mouth still open. A leaf bug flies by and her tongue shoots out like a frog as she eats.
What kind of animal is
That
Katie?
is abnormal. It doesn't die, though, and she goes... again, causing it to fly out. Everyone is frightened by her presence. In a later scene, she stares off into another direction and then teleports behind Horton. At this point, all of the kids are inspired by Horton to make up imaginary pocket universes on their own Clovers, and Katie says that on hers, everyone's a pony that eats rainbows and excretes butterflies.
Huh?
Weirded out, Horton hesitantly calls it beautiful. Her eyes then
A little bit
split
strange.
apart and she sticks the clover on her head. She then gets up on her
Oh
hind
my.
legs, sticks her arms out like a zombie, and moans.
What?
As she shuffles backwards into the jungle, Katie seems
What?
very detached. She bumps into things constantly, but the absolute...
Nah. This character is weird. Like, what the fuck? The thing is, though, we know that this isn't the most psychotic that the Theorizer will get. This was made 2 years ago. This was made before the insanity that is part 22 to 20, that is part 21 to 23 of the Mort theory.
Unexplicable event that proves this is a thread we definitely should be tugging at.
Okay.
At the end, where it turns out she can fly. she goes, "Ah," and just floats
She has magic
into
powers.
the void of the sky. It's not even some one-time joke either. We can see her floating in the background of the next shot, and then, in the very last scene of the entire film, in outer space, out from Horton's jungle world, we see she has transcended her world, which is, again, also a speck of space, and she now floats out in the vacuum.
Yep, floating.
Alive, going, Not only does Katie definitely know the jungle is also on a speck, but I believe she knows a hell of a lot more than just that, because
The universe
for
is
her
a
to
speck.
know that, it would require her also knowing a ton of things beneath that fundamental fact. A ton of things that basically make this whole cosmic horror story work in the first place. Unlike Mort, who has seasons of material to work through, Katie is easier, and thus will be a quicker solve.
I mean, Katie's only in the movie, so of course it's going to be a lot easier to, pick apart than Mort, because Mort's got all this material, got multiple seasons, got few movies, has a few movies that he's in, the Madagascar movies, has an entire Penguins of Madagascar along with all Hail King Julian, which has a lot of shit in it, and it's just so much to pick up with Mort. With Katie, it's only one movie. So, of course, everything that you need to know is contained in that one movie. So, I mean, just watch the movie a few times and you'll get to know exactly what it is. With Mort, though, we watch every Madagascar movie, we watch Penguins of Madagascar, we watch All Hail King Julian, we watch Exile, and it's... It is mind-numbing. Especially since you have to watch the other DreamWorks movies to get what the fuck is going on with that theory. I'm close to breaking because of it again. Just now.
There's less of a chance that I will encounter a plot hole, right? With Mort, I'm trying to be as just flat-out logic as possible. Katie won't be any less horrific, though. In fact, she's possibly even more so. You see, Katie does not belong in the jungle. She's not a yak. She's posing as a yak. Quite poorly, might I add. Evidence number one, she doesn't act like a yak. She has sharp teeth and a spring-loaded tongue with something strange and anomalous behavior to accompany these features. Evidence number two, she doesn't look like a yak. In fact, she looks like a clover, but more on that later. Evidence number three, Katie very likely has no origin in this jungle. What I mean is, I can't find a parent in this film that looks similar enough to her. The other kids all have distinct, almost identical parents that hang out with the helicopter Karen. Katie does not. This should be striking and shocking in itself. The fact that the animators didn't care to show her parents is now deeper evidence that they intend more from Katie.
Maybe.
There's the superficial evidence, like her floating in space, but on a deeper level of analysis, there's the fact that she has no parents, if you really think about it. So now, Blue Sky Studios is rewarding people who do a little digging. This proves it's intentionally deeper than meets the eye.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's intentional.
Because it means this little string I'm tugging at is extremely valid.
And I love movie studios that do this. Well, it's like they put in a little something for, the people that theorize and look into things deeper. It's like a little gimme. It's like, hey, we know that you're looking into this very deeply. Why don't we give you, something that is canon so that you can then go off and theorize yourself? Let's just give you, for example, Katie, this one character that doesn't seem to fit in with anyone, and it just so happens that we never show her parents at all in the movie. Go crazy with this one, theorists. It's like a gimme. It's literally like a gimme. They're giving it to you for free. Free theory on a silver platter right here. Here's this character that we know has no parents because we don't see them in the entire movie. A character that acts strange, acts really weirdly, and does not exhibit any sort of, anything that we know of from the movie. It's like, here, Katie, silver platter, here you go. Find out a theory about this. I love movies that do this. I love studios that do this as well.
Extension, it means that Katie is an undocumented creature. So with this in mind, let's go back and view her behavior through the lens of her being a cosmic anomaly.
Yes.
Her going to space and blanking out is sensible now and puts into context what she might know about her world. It makes me inclined to think that her comment about rainbow-eating ponies is true. She's not like the other kids, and her reaction by backing up...
Sir, she is simply built different. My client is simply built different. She may be built wrong. You know what I mean?
Up into the jungle should be further proof of that. So theoretically, if she's being serious here, what would...
Or built right, depending on, you know, what your definition of crazy is.
What does that mean? Well, the likelihood that Katie could find another Clover with a pocket universe on it is slim to none. So if she's being serious here, and it is her world, like she says, then it means Katie can create pocket universes spontaneously. The fact of the matter is, she looks more like a Clover than a yak.
Yeah.
And probably is some sort of pocket universe. Here's the thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if she looks more like a Clover, then what's stopping you from saying that she is a Clover, and therefore has a pocket universe on her? Like, what's stopping you from coming to that conclusion? It's like, oh yeah, she looks like a Clover, must have, like, some sort of, like, pocket universe on her. Which is interesting. Because what would that imply if she herself was a Clover that had a pocket universe on her? What would that pocket universe look like? Is there more than one pocket universe on her? If so, what are these pocket universes like? There could be a pocket universe inside of her pocket universe. It's like just an endless loop of pocket universes. It's like, you know, maybe you guys are onto something with this Theory Trilogy. Maybe you guys are onto something. Is this why you want me to react to this? Because I would get mind blown just like this? Because it's working, and I can't wait to see it.
The original Whoville came from a yellow flower.
Yes.
But was it created there? It always
No.
seems tucked down under the ground in a hidden area. There's a certain level of intent to all of this that makes me suspicious. Even weirder is how there's a whole sea of pink clovers that Vlad could drop the speck into. Very strange, and all of this is really inexplicable, but I seriously, legitimately think Katie is behind it all because she's the only character who has demonstrated substantial cosmic awareness and the capability to handle it.
They're doing it all on purpose.
Exactly 4 years ago regarding a conspiracy within the Whoville government. It was
Yeah.
very solid, it was bulletproof as a theory, and I've always wanted to tackle the other side of the coin, that being the world above Whoville, Horton's jungle.
Yeah.
I think Katie is a gateway to the answer I'm looking for. Based on the final shot in the film, I'm more inclined to believe that each speck really is floating out there in space and that the mayor of Whoville really is the same size as Horton. But through quantum entanglement and cosmic alignments, various worlds can function as gateways to others in manners such as this. So Horton can affect this speck, and it'll affect Whoville's actual planet out there in space.
Yeah, because we've seen that, you know, when he moves the speck, when he moves it from side to side and jostles it around, we can see in Whoville that they're feeling the effects of whatever's happening. So, like, he can move it left and right, and all of a sudden you got people like, whoa, 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 like, you know, just kind of like, it's like an earthquake for them. To Horton, he's jostling the speck around, and to the Whoville, it's like a fucking earthquake happening. So, I mean, Horton can obviously directly influence what happens in the Clover. So, that's interesting.
Because of how all the worlds are connected. It's like how the Grinch takes place on a snowflake, but not
Yeah.
really. Or maybe the speck really was just that small, but I'm sure...
Yeah, whatever the hell's going on with the Grinch, like, that's what I want to know. The entire story is happening on a snowflake. Like, what even is the idea behind that? What were they trying to tell us? Are there more snowflakes like this that have their own version of the Grinch? Or what's going on here? Are there multiple Whovilles on these like singular minuscule snowflakes? What are these Whovilles like? What's the word like in a different snowflake? It's like you never question these things until you really look at it and you're like, wait a minute. Grinch happens all on a singular snowflake, but, you know, doesn't really happen on a snowflake. And I think that's a similar thing with Hortney's Who. It's like the entirety of Whoville is encapsulated on this speck, but not really, you know?
Sure, it probably fell from space because the conditions out there are much more stable than, well, on another speck. Point
Ooh.
is, Katie knows all of this and uses it to her advantage.
Ooh.
She's the only one who has transcended out into this void that contains every single speck.
Yeah.
She changes her size and teleports around. She doesn't seem remotely surprised. She doesn't seem remotely anything, just extant. Like an observer or caretaker of the worlds who projects herself as a character onto any world that needs her assistance at a given time. I also noticed that one of the mayor's daughters looked more like a human version of Katie, and also behaved similarly. Katie is her name. This is more of an unfounded suspicion, though, regardless of how likely it is that Katie is the keeper of the multiverse. I say all of these things because of, again, the intentional nature of the dynamics between the worlds. She is the eater of worlds who opens her mouth as a gateway to the void. Notice how she just leaves right after Whoville is saved. Serious?
Yeah. She's like, my work here is done.
She's all like, my job here is done.
Yeah, she's like, my people leave me, my work here is done, I'm gonna just float back up into the fucking universe. She is not from this world. She is an intergalactic demon, is what she is. Get away!
Back to the nothingness.
Originally, I thought Horton made Whoville up, and everyone ended the film indulging in his psychosis. But then, to go a level deeper, I thought maybe it was actually the reverse, and everything was a way of the mayor coping with his stress, to offload their existence to a fake god in the sky. But none of these add up, because the truth of the matter is everything is real and in its own plane. I also feel like the hippity-hoppity get-me-your-manager lady has a history with all of this because of her insane reluctance and such, or maybe she was just a bullied creative in her youth, or maybe she just fears a communistic uprising. Who knows? This film is loaded with messages and irony to the highest degree. It's unspeakably amazing. But there are too many possibilities regarding the characters outside of Katie, so let's go back to her and try looking at her physiology. So, like all Lovecraftian abominations, Katie is unfathomable in her true form. We can catch a glimpse of it, though, through the cracks in her thin animal mask. She has teeth that can drill through tungsten, a tongue that can encompass worlds into stream in a single gulp. Imagine looking up across the horizon and seeing what you think is the sun, only for it to turn around and reveal its razor-sharp fangs that lurch towards everything you've ever known at the speed of light. Then, darkness. You feel the sense of dread looming as everything disintegrates around you. You bear witness as your body painfully dissolves and your soul is ripped from your mind.
What?
You scream, but nothing comes out, for your mouth is long gone. You sense the silent agony of billions around you as you are obliterated one quark at a time until the space that once contained you ceases to exist on all levels of dimension. This is Katie, Langolier, head-ass, bitch-ass, dead-ass, bitch. Brings this up
Okay.
how they could be.
Okay, Theorizer. We need you to calm down on your use of dead ass, okay? Head ass, kitty ass, dimensional ass, bitch ass.
On a spec being witnessed.
I love you though. You're.
Above, directly teasing how we.
I love you, Theorizer. Never change. Never change.
In the end, credits of reality roll, killing the world as we move on from the film and consume the next piece of media. Again, this is all speculative. I can always bring more cohesion later, but all I know right now is that Katie is built to be suspiciously aware.
Yeah.
That said, my fear of Katie has finally gone away. It relieves me immensely to know that I can finally pin Katie, at least as far as knowing that she's not what she says she is. That much is dead certain. much more terrifying to see Katie just walking around but not knowing the extent of her ability. I must say, that was a close one. I almost thought I was losing it for a second there. Until next time I'm your hero.
Yeah. Yeah. Number 1 was pretty insane, but then we have number 2. The insanity of Courtney's Who was confirmed. The first minute of this video sounds like everything was terrible. No. Ooh. We've seen this before.
Get out of my mind, multiverse again.
Mm.
Say you are a godforsaken hackabsalt of happiness and such, using theories as a crutch for fame. You're insane. More so.
Reminds me of the more theories.
Facts. Your facade is full of cracks. You are
Ooh.
I am not. Simple as that for all I
Ooh.
know. You can rot. Little Lovecraft Jimmy, you're gonna cry. Might as well waste you on modern memes, considering you are one redundant piece of shit. Eldritch misfit. So your canon, how does that work? Made you famous for your work. Now you'll wash up, start to twerk, probably TikTok, there are perks, maybe MySpace, you peasants, you're from 2007 after all, and you seem to have the gall as a fictional being to reach through the fourth wall and attack me, you heathen, the hair of Jake Paul, and then see, I don't cave to amateurs, not today, not tomorrow, not the heat death of the universe, or your little Men in Black ripoff, multiverse marbles that could strap you to a bed of nails and seal you in a parcel to hell. I will get the last word, I'm the Theorizer, nuke you with a tranquilizer, turn you into fertilizer.
Ooh. He said he's the motherfucking Theorizer.
You are nothing but an infantile dandelion.
We've heard him curse though. Like, if you follow him on Twitter, you've heard him say fuck. I guess he just censors himself because, like, oh, you know, fucking thing. I don't know.
Hello, I'm the Theorizer, and
Computer,
I
please don't.
One of the Katie theory. If not, click the link in the top right corner there now, because this video is going to tear you to shreds if you haven't been keeping up with the Katie lore. I didn't want to have to make this video. I thought it was painstakingly obvious that she's a sixth-dimensional empress.
Yeah.
But apparently there were some hesitant second guessers. I made numerous additional videos on my wondrous second channel to prove my point, but it would seem as though a lot of people got the memo. So here I am today to go over the breaking news regarding our beloved little Mort precursor demon. In the original theory, I basically came to the conclusion that the little random fluffball from Horton Hears a Who, Katie, is a Lovecraftian multiversal goddess. In all seriousness, I know that some of you genuinely don't like it when I present my theories in, well, reverse. What I've done since early 2020 is start the videos with the conclusion and then work backwards while maintaining this air of wildness so as to keep not only the theory fans entertained, but the meme lords as well. I seem to have attracted such people with the Mort theory, which, if you've not seen it, it truly is canonical. It seems ridiculous, obviously. It's just Mort, right? How could he be an interdimensional Grim Reaper? But no, it's actually completely true. There's a whole spin-off show where the creators basically lost their minds and filled it with canon Lovecraft references that are critical to the main storylines, and that is what I was analyzing. I have never wavered. Although some theories are obviously more outlandish than others, like my Brazilian helicopter pilot theory, they are all still legitimate. I have always been this way. It is only the presentation that I have been messing around with lately. Don't get the wrong idea for those who have, because I worry people are dismissing them under false assumptions and maybe missing out. I say all of this because my Katie theory, in boring, legitimate terms, is basically this. Katie from Horton Hears a Who is shown to be objectively very strange in that she stares off blankly and moans whenever she's on screen. What's more is that unlike the other kids, she has no
gonna turn
parents
up the
in
volume here.
And at the end, she literally floats up into space where we see a multiverse of specks. So obviously Katie is a loose thread, and I pulled it and came to the conclusion that she is aware that they're all also on a speck, and she has a dark, aggressive intention behind her, a sort of observer of the multiverse. I felt like I knew what the creators were going for, whether they were joking or otherwise, and I feel like I hit the nail on the head. But some people weren't so convinced. Comments such as, "The Theorizer's insanity is too real for my liking," or "This is just a troll channel."
It's not a troll.
Don't blame me if a meme becomes so deep I turn it into a con.
You leave me with no choice, though I'm sort of shooting myself in the foot when it comes to the algorithm. There was one commenter, though, Cheyenne the Deodun, who knew exactly what I was talking about. They knew that I was apparently...
There's actually a deleted scene that's supposed to be theory. The deleted scene shows Katie eating what we think are just berries or clovers, but then it's revealed that inhabiting the clovers are the species of small blue donkey-like creatures. These creatures could most likely be the ponies that she was talking about. But see, this microscopic donkey's fleeing as a demon Katie continues to feast upon their realm. Here's a link to the deleted scene to get interesting. This is not a referral, you can trust me. Okay, before we get any more into the actual fucking insanity that is, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, so I will mute my mic and then we'll come back in a little bit, and I'm gonna leave this on. Fuck you. I'm leaving this in. Once again, just like I get it with Halloween Horror, I'm leaving this in. I'm back, bitches. Who missed me? Alright, let's get back into the insanity that is Katie Theory number 2. The insanity for 2 was confirmed!
Spot on. I feel incredibly ashamed that I was so ignorant in making a theory so as not to check the deleted scenes. I always do that. It's so important, but I guess I was too quick to share my distaste for Katie's crimes, because get a load of this. One of the key deleted scenes involves Katie eating a patch of clovers, and it zooms in to reveal that, yes, this is an entire world she is eating.
Yes.
The small little Seussian animals, ponies, she's
real.
to when
It's real.
explaining her world. It is real. She
Yeah.
feasts upon them and their world as she appears to them in her true form, a horrific, Godzilla-esque demon of destruction. If you want more proof, it is followed by her displaying something else, something that indicates she is truly terrifying. She turns around to Horton and the gang and proceeds to do exactly what she described earlier and vomits a stream of butterflies to everyone's horror. Have you seen my Katie theory? This is exactly what I described at the end of the video. That part was an exaggerated joke. I mean, obviously, I had a similar mindset to the animators here, but it's jarringly accurate, eerily the same. I was just playing fast and loose with my premise. This is getting too real, freaking disturbing. No wonder it was cut. It just goes to show their mindset. Now that Blue Sky Studios has dissolved as a company, so too hath her chains of concealment been broken. I'm baffled beyond belief, and I find this to be one of the most hilarious incidents in the history of my channel. Something similar happened with Scrat from Ice Age back in early 2020. I deemed him an alien terraformer, and just as I was uploading the video, I discovered a short film that confirmed it was actual canon. I had to go in and cut like a third of the video away. It ruined it. That's my record, a theory being proven in -1 hours. This is a close second, however, and what followed was a flood of appalled commenters taking back their presumptions. All of this has been documented on my second channel. Is that all? No, it sadly is not. Things get so much worse.
Yeah.
It's at this point that I feel crippling terror in regards to this Horton Here's a Who bonus disc.
Yeah.
I have yet to even examine it myself, but commenter Wizard Cat linked the instrument of my doom, creator commentary,
Oh,
or rather, one of
shit.
those interviews with the animators where follows might disturb you to a level you didn't know you had. It is canon confirmation from the Word of God. I caution you, these people founded your childhood, and yet they are savage lunatics in the best way one can be.
She actually thinks she's a huge demonic being.
You see this, the village, and all these villagers go like, ah! They're like running for their lives. You hear, there's a giant Katie comes out over the huts and goes, and blows this like stream of butterflies, kind of like fire, and then starts grabbing villagers in her closet, eating them. Right? And then you cut to these other terrified kids, and you cut to what they're looking at. It's Katie sitting in a little flower patch eating danglers. And a butterfly.
The director, when I first pitched it, when I blocked it out, he was like, no, more crazy. I want her to just turn like a mechanical zombie, creep it out more. You have that, I want to see that change where she goes from sweet to psychotic. So there's like a snap.
Oh.
She turns and her eyes just go.
In my storyboards, I actually gave her horns for some reason. Her teeth were all messed up and just gigantic pupils. And she doesn't look anything like a yak. I don't, no one really knew what she was. I'm not sure if they still do.
Wow.
She is eternal.
She lives forever.
She's always been and she
She's
always
watching
will be.
all of you right now.
Wow. So it is canon.
What in the name of all that's sacred? What fresh hell is this?
So it actually is all canon.
Done. I nearly dipped my toe into this cesspool and get a load of this fucking insanity. The storyboards seem to portray her with a dead squirrel pinned to her abdomen, and the most shocking and horrific piece to this jigsaw puzzle is in the form of an X-ray scan of her body granted to the modelers.
What the
Look
hell?
what happens when you elongate her spine and unfold her into the truth.
What the hell? What the fuck?
Ask, what the hell is this
Yeah,
supposed to be?
what is that?
Thorax is that? Why is her skull an
What the hell is that?
Don't tell me she's not a demon. You have no grounds to stand on.
If that's not a demon skeleton, then I don't know what is. She is not. She's just not. Nothing else. Full stop. She's just not.
Anymore. None. Katie herself.
Need I say more?
Katie is a completely unholy shadow demon wearing the suit of a baby yak. The mammal suit looks exactly like the Clovers she curates, the multiverse she governs. I pushed part 1 to the furthest reaches of exaggeration I could, but it turned out the creators had already done the exact same thing, meaning my most existentially horrifying video is the latest in a long line of absurd canon confirmations, making it by far one of the most accurate theories I have ever created. Until next time, I'm the Theorizer.
So yeah, now we know that everything is canon in Horror News of Who. But then we have
It's official.
this one.
Ka-
Then we have this one. Katie Theory number 3. And the most recent Katie Theory made a year ago. And the end to the thrilling trilogy of Katie Theories. Katie Theory number 3. Horton Hears a Who is a sequel to Cloverfield.
It's official. Katie has become as complicated as Mort.
Well, that's a big claim. I need you to back this up with some sources, Mr. Theo. Because we know how complicated more is.
Hello, I'm the Theorizer, and what do I mean? Well, if you've seen my theories regarding Mort from Madagascar,
Yes.
then you know exactly.
Oh, we've seen all 23 parts. Thank you for asking. We've seen all 23 parts, and my mind broke during that. And I think my mind's gonna break again with this one.
Exactly what I mean.
There's hours upon hours of analysis, and I have a sneaking suspicion that after this video you'll agree that Katie is headed in a similar direction.
Yes.
If you haven't seen parts 1 and 2 of this, I'll link them above now. Part 1 is 10 minutes long and introduces you to an insane theory that I figured out when watching 14 Years of Who on the matter of the side character, Katie. Part 2 is also 10 minutes, and well, let's just say it 100% confirms my insane theory as fact and truth. Not joking. It was one of the most shocking things to happen in the history of my channel, actually, and today things are going to go off the rails harder than you can possibly imagine. So, did I go out and buy the Blu-ray disc? No. I had reason to believe that the film's iTunes copy would provide everything, but it omitted the Katie interview and film commentary. I don't believe it left out anything else that would be particularly critical to this, but following this video, if you do have the disc, make sure to comment anything more if it can fit. None of you should be fans of Katie at this point. She's an unholy shadow demon, and worshipping her would merely be fulfilling a prophecy from lunatics. Let me expose the rest of that interview because, yes, as they say,
There's like kids that have websites devoted to Katie because she's just so awesome.
I've already sacrificed myself, and I don't think anyone else should be doing the same because it would just be proving the point. You see, the Katie interview isn't just notable because of what they say in it. It's notable because of the fact that it exists at all. This interview segment was only done for a couple of main characters, and then, randomly, Katie. This means they've dedicated more space and time to her than any other character of her seeming irrelevance. I don't even need to assume this, because in this very interview they also say they had a team dedicated to her.
And it was my job to find the personality of this little cute fluffy thing.
Absolutely sickening. They also constantly demonstrate and state their intentions and their mindset, and they mock the viewers with it. There's more here too, and it helps confirm her anomalous anatomy. In part 2, I took one look at her x-ray and thought it looked all strange and bent and contorted inwards with needless fat and a wrongly placed neck, so I took it to Photoshop and opened it up, making it upright as if she were a human, and I got a horrific looking image. At the time, I didn't think the creators would go so far as to truly accurately mimic yak skeletons, but they did, because they are obviously very detail-obsessed and serious about Katie. And this is, in fact, generally quite similar to how yaks and related animals function inside, although still not quite. This unfolding is thus not as important as before, but don't dismiss it quite yet. Aside from this, it's also extremely obvious that she's not a yak, regardless, of course, because the creators have said as much, and look at her weird face as she runs in circles, and her eyes are on the front of her face like a predator, although I suppose all the animals here are like that. In that case, how about I introduce you to the most shocking piece of omitted
Mysterious fifth leg.
Fifth leg? Not only that, but she seems to be able to literally generate new ones at will. The hell? Even she looks confused, which aligns with how the creators also fleetingly mention that Katie thinks she's a demon. I mean, she also literally is, as we know full well at this point, and what all of this comes together and implies is that Katie is truly monstrous, but perhaps not as evil or knowledgeable or aware as we previously anticipated, because she is, after all, a child.
Yes.
She's not particularly malicious, just strange.
She's not like Mort, who looks like a child, but is in fact billions of years old. Katie is an actual child.
Predator baby who governs a universe. How does this pan out? She does her governance on autopilot and hangs around with the other kids. How can this work? Well, the only way all of this could come together is if... Dear God. There's more of them.
What?
There's more of them. Katie is not a 6D Lovecraftian goddess because Katie isn't the only one. This character we bear witness to in Horton Hears a Who is merely an infant of a greater species. It's the only way this can pan out. She is a baby and has her own world to govern, while the elders maintain the multiverse as a whole.
Don't tell me that her world is full of little mini Katies just like her. Oh dear. Oh God. Oh fuck, even.
Yes, Katie owns the jungle of Newell, which is why she transcends at the end of the film. This finally gives me the answer I've been looking for as to why she looks like a clover. You see, the clover is this film's representative of things containing universes, as the speck rests atop the clover for the duration of the movie. This parallels how Katie rests the clover atop her head
She is a
after
clover.
proclaiming it's a universe which deleted scenes confirm to be true.
She is a
Katie
clover.
looks like a clover so as to hint towards her true nature, that true nature being her omnipotent governance of the world around
Yeah.
her. This all means her imagined creation of the pony butterfly world is a horrific indicator that she likely also created the jungle of
Yeah.
Newell, and by extension probably Whoville as well. This, again, is why she leaves the world right.
Like I said, Pocket Universe within a Pocket Universe. If the jungle is a clover and she made it, then the jungle's a Pocket Universe. And Whoville, by proxy, is also a Pocket Universe. It's like I said in the first one, Pocket Universe inside a Pocket Universe. Is this what the Theorizer felt like when he made that joke? Because I didn't think that that would actually be true. I just said Endless Pocket Universe because why the fuck not? I literally just said, and it literally said Endless Pocket Universe. Solely because why the fuck not? I didn't expect that to be real, you know? I mean, let's just be honest, you know? I'm losing it. Who knew that Katie would also be the one that also made me lose my fucking marbles? Dear God.
As Whoville is saved, and back when the speck first appears, she's the only other one to really stare at it. The film is all about clovers, despite it actually being about the speck, because the clovers mean something.
Yeah.
Because these are not clovers.
What?
They closest resemble red clovers, but they
Okay.
really don't, and the colors vary dramatically because
Yeah.
these are not clovers. The universes separate themselves with their nigh impenetrable sound barriers, but they all reside within one another like a nest, just like my Pixar multiverse theory. Evolution, aging, species. These are no more clovers than Katie is. These are shadow demon larvae.
What?
And this brings me to the field of clovers.
Yeah?
You should be unimaginably terrified right now. For ages, I've been hinting in these theories that this field means something, because why is it there? Why are there millions, billions of clovers just extending out into the sunset? This world is essentially an island of jungle amidst an ocean of
Yeah.
clovers, and it's because these are not clovers. This island is a temporary home for those shadow demons in the fields that grow. This is a sea of 1 billion Katies, and thus is a sea of 1 trillion universes,
Oh,
potential
God.
and present. Horton kept dismissing them because their sound barriers were still intact, and out of context, this is a much bigger oh no than he can possibly imagine. Whether these are Katie's spawns or Katie's siblings, I do not know. All I can say for certain is that the jungle of Newell is Katie's fiction, and Whoville probably is too. None of this sounds like a kid's
What?
film, and therein lies the kicker.
It's not.
The only reason this cosmic horror is a film for children is because it's Katie's fiction, and Katie
What?
is a child. She's manifesting her own entertainment. She's not going around moaning and groaning. That's only what it sounds like because she's a baby. That is a...
Oh.
This is all relatively terrifying, but the true horror is that if Katie is in fact just an infant, then can you possibly imagine what a fully formed Katie would look like, or what an R-rated Horton Hears a Who would be like? We'd have these extended shadow demons roaming around a horror film.
Uh-huh.
The deleted scene is a fair indicator as well. So are you ready for an even more colossal mind
Yeah?
The kangaroo, whose name is Jane, is suspicious as well, suspicious as hell. Remember that theory I made on Horton Hears a Who way back in
No.
2016? It was on the matter of Whoville's council, who
No.
I determined actually knew about the true nature of their reality the entire time. It was a
Okay.
solid theory and makes complete sense in the context of everything, and this council is direct parallel to Jane, who causes turmoil up above. She behaves very similarly to the council and is meant to be the antagonistic force in the parallel plot. The villains all exhibit the same aggressive reluctance, and the council's motivation is well known thanks to my video, but Jane's would need to mirror that,
Yeah.
which would imply that she too somehow knows the nature of her world. that she's on a spec as well. This
What?
is why she is in charge. Her goal was to keep this under wraps until it became impossible to do so any longer, at which point she instantly changed her tune. Are you getting it? This is why she hates Clovers. Jane is a crusader against Clover's imagination and, most importantly, manifestation. I'm not sure what happened to her or how, but midway through the film,
My mind is...
she kicks shadow demons like a damn football. Not good enough? Well, it's true. This is the woman who pondered sacrificing her child to a vulture so he would destroy Clover. This Clover, she claimed, needed to be destroyed so they could preserve the minds of the children. Logic. You have it. You care about the mind of your child so much that you're almost willing to kill him. Fortunately,
What?
this makes complete and utter sense under my theory, because the honest truth is that she isn't doing this for the sake of the children. She's doing this to save her world from these things. One is already out, and that one is Katie. This is why Jane keeps her
I'm trying to...
away from the other children, because she is protecting
My brain is
them
like
from this
oozing
thing.
it out of my
These
ears.
things, these monster egg universes that are spreading from the outer fields into what
I
little
just-
habitat they all have. This multiverse is being controlled by 6-dimensional or maybe even 7-dimensional creatures beyond our comprehension. This multiverse of specs is vast and all-encompassing, and I know exactly what it is. It's his other stories. It's his other stories!
What?
The Dr. Seuss multiverse, essentially. How can I know this? Horton's Whoville takes place on a speck.
Yes?
And the Grinch's Whoville takes place on a snowflake. You have...
I mentioned the Grinch, saying that we don't know why the entire story happens on a snowflake. Oh my god. This is what the Theorizer feels like. I mentioned that it was on a snowflake. I mentioned that the Grinch happens on a snowflake, and maybe there's other snowflakes that have other dimensions and Whoville. I did not think that it would be real. I didn't think that this would... I'm good. I'm fine. I'm fine. I almost damn near fucking cried. What the fuck?
got to be kidding.
You've gotta be
No,
shitting
in
me!
fact, all of the Seuss stories are on their own spec, simply put, hence their
You've gotta be
general
fucking shitting me with
I
this!
started reading into some of these other stories, and then suddenly realized what the ending of this film truly means. For over a decade, the creators have continuously taunted the hypothetical conspiracy theorist to stumble upon this, and it has ended up being me. There's another Horton Hears a Who book, a prequel.
Yeah.
This book is
Horton
famous for
Hatches
its
the Egg.
quote, "I meant what I said, and I said what I meant, and Elephant's faithful 100%.
Mm-hmm.
It should sound familiar because it was used in this movie too. But that's a part of the same continuity, so how about other comparisons? Like the fact
Yeah, I was gonna
that-
say, that's part of the same continuity there. So, like, I mean, Horton Hatches the Egg is a prequel to Horton Hears a Who. Obviously, there's gonna be, you know, canonicity and continuity between the two because they are the same thing.
But that's a part of the same continuity, so how about other comparisons, like the fact that there are numerous versions of Whoville throughout all the stories, the Grinch
Yeah.
being on a snowflake, of course,
Mhm.
and the fact that I'm damn certain that Oh, the Places You'll Go was adapted as Katie's parents talking to her about moving mountains, because, yes, what I'm saying is that Horton Hears a Who is not just adapting Horton Hears a Who. It is adapting the entire Seuss canon
How?
at once. This is a Seuss multiverse film. There's proof for this too, but perhaps it needs its own video. So speaking of moving mountains, I swear the mountain they plan to put the speck on is actually some sort of mobile beast, and that's its mouth. Maybe a stretch, but even then it's reminiscent of Mount Crumpet from The Grinch. Putting a speck universe in the mouth of a multiversal beast would align the stories like a meta-constellation of batshit genius. I should also mention these weirdly coincidental ties to completely different companies that I've been perplexed by for months. In the Pixar film Monsters, Inc., you may remember me recently discussing how an almost identical depiction of Katie is literally...
Oh yeah, that's right! He mentioned that as like a throwaway at the end of one of those Pixar series, that Katie is like a depiction on Monsters Inc.'s on the Boo's room. He mentioned that as sort of like a throwaway at one of the endings of the series. So I think he's going to touch on that more, which is interesting. I want to hear what he has to say about this. How Katie is somehow being represented in a Pixar film.
Boo's bedroom, and I deemed Boo's bedroom to be at the center of a multiversal convergence.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, with Theory's movie, that was fucking wild. We've come to the conclusion that Boo is a B&L robot, and her room is the convergence points of all of the multiverses from the Pixar films in one.
Freaking me the hell out. If you've seen the video, then you know why. Because simply put, I have concluded merely this: if Disney is the B&L of our layer, then the Fox acquisition unintentionally canonizes all of this by proxy. I'll get into...
Because we've come to the conclusion in the Baby Smitty theory again that Disney is our world's B&L. And it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. If you look at what B&L is in the Pixar movies, it makes perfect sense how Disney could be parallel to that.
Into that in my next Pixar theory, though. It's crazy stuff. I've kind of just rushed through the Seuss multiverse and the Pixar coincidence, though, because something of devastating magnitude is devouring my mind. I was shocked and panicked by my revelations of the Cloverfield.
Yes.
And then I lost it. I actually short-circuited and started rocking back and forth in the corner, muttering, "Hello, I'm the Theorizer," to myself. Because something clicked. Something that shouldn't be able to. Something that isn't supposed to. Something that upends half of Hollywood and extends into the real world. Don't worry, it's still a matter of fictional theories, but the sheer degree of this crossover might result in you experiencing physical symptoms of terror that I can only put a thin disclaimer for. I've gotten comments since the start of this whole theory, a few comments from a few people, presumably joking about how the Katie theory is getting so elaborate that it could infiltrate other movies. I have news for all who thought it was funny to compare this film to Cloverfield. For those who don't know, Cloverfield is a series of J.J. Abrams films, each one completely different from the last, aside from the same events, that being Godzilla-esque monsters rising from the ocean and aliens invading with a connection to it. It's very confusing and is held together by a massive online mystery that people have been solving for ages, and that tells the true story of what's going on. The first film is a found-footage monster flick as the beast attacks New York. The second film takes place in a bunker, and it turns out aliens have invaded. The third film deals with the multiverse, and once again involves aliens and monsters and such. Haven't actually seen these, but certainly will, and I know enough for these purposes because you all have absolutely no idea how horrific this revelation is. You see, I looked up one full image of the Cloverfield monster. And holy
No. I refuse. I refuse. I refuse. I actually refuse. I fail to accept this. I refuse. No. I simply do not accept this.
Still don't agree with my unfolding? Well, merely take a look at the deleted scene then and compare this, the Clover.
I do, but I try not to accept it.
And the minute I thought, oh no, not again, is when things snapped. The Cloverfield monster is, of course, named Clover and is widely believed to be an infant. An infant Lovecraftian beast from across the multiverse runs rampant amongst its brethren while awaiting the return of its hypothetical parents. Katie is the Cloverfield monster. There are also comparisons to be made regarding the weird things on Clover's back, just like how Katie's back contains the universes and she breathes butterflies like fire. Get this, Clover has weird additional fifth legs too. What? 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 The Cloverfield franchise is so discordant because it acquires half of its scripts and then just makes them a part of the franchise, meaning any film could theoretically be up for grabs as a backdoor sequel thanks to its mysterious internet alternate reality game. Here's a shocker the likes of which you're unprepared for. Horton Hears a Who was in development at the exact same time Cloverfield was being teased.
What?
It was then released not 2 months later and infamously stole the temporary title of 2008's highest-grossing film from Cloverfield itself. Blue Sky was not inspired by Godzilla. They were inspired by something bigger, something more topical, something here. And they taunt us with it every day. I find it extra strange that this even parallels how the monster universe from Monsters, Inc. exiles their beasts to the human universe, and oh hell, Sully's voice actor is the villain of the Cloverfield sequel. Regardless, all of these parallels imply things about Katie and things about Cloverfield, things undiscoverable on their own. The grand implication is that Katie will traverse the multiverse and consume it, which means Katie is going to devour the other Dr. Seuss stories. These creatures start as infinitely small specks and grow to infinitely large monstrosities, and damn it if my Booba/Event Horizon shared universe theory didn't spiritually come to pass right here. Either way, things can't truly connect beyond mere inspiration. This answers the truth about Katie within her film, but it doesn't transcend to the other properties.
Yeah.
Blue Sky Studios has recently dissolved as a company, and so the only way any of this would actually work is if Cloverfield's production company got involved and started making Seuss multiverse children's stories, but Bad Robot literally only makes high-budget action blockbusters, so it's obviously never going to happen.
I'm done. I can't deal with this anymore. I can't. Are you reading what I'm reading as well? Warner Animation Group teams with a bad robot to adapt Dr. Seuss. J.J. Abrams to produce Dr. Seuss's All the Places You'll Go. This can't be happening. When are we gonna see Katie 4? When are we gonna see Katie 4? When is Katie theory number 4 happening?
It's all true. It's all real. What? No.
Bad Robot is an American film company led by Gigi. I'm done. I'm so done with this. I mean, that is... Why did that happen? Why did you do that? That is, the Theory Trilogy. Yeah. I will see all of you in the next video. Later.